the speaker, and then we quickly launch into it so that she will then excuse herself and we'll continue. So, Madam Matilda Osei, Head of Client Service, Office of the Registrar of Companies, please tell us what you have for us.
This afternoon, I'm here to give you a little education and also to add to what you already know, and then what you also know that is not accurate. So we are here, even though the time is a little short, we'll add to the body of knowledge. So I bring you greetings from the Office of the Registrar of Companies herself, in the person of Mrs. Jemima. She's saying, and now everybody knew the Registrar General. Now the Office of the Registrar of Companies has been decoupled. There was a lunch on 22nd July at KMPC, and the president lunches. So when you register company, it's not Registrar General, but we are all at the same premises. So when you come to the old Registrar General, the Office of the Registrar General is the main building. And then the smaller building where those who know where we used to do the marriages is the Registrar General. So the Office of the Registrar of Companies is now a body corporate and have perpetual succession. So it means body corporate, it doesn't die. Perpetual succession, somebody can come, go, somebody can be appointed. And there's a board, a 11-member board in place, representation from Attorney General, Chartered Institute of Accountants, Ministry of Trade, the General Legal Council, Ghana Bar Association, and then including the registrar herself, and then the company secretary. The board secretary is also from the Office of the Registrar of Companies. So we have our own legal seal, and then we can also go for contracts and all that. So I would like to show you the logo. It might not be too clear. We don't use the coat of arms again. So if you see this, this is the logo for the Office of the Registrar of Companies. If a letter comes to you or you see something, it's genuine. It's genuine. That's the logo for the Office of the Registrar of Companies. We don't use the coat of arms anymore. And as I said, we are at Tema Station. And our postal address, in case you want to write to us, is GP 2559 Accra. And our digital address is GA-143-4647. You know, when we started using the digital address, people were struggling to get digital address. So one day, my boss was approving a document and he realized that the digital address in front of the registrar general, somebody has used it for a company. So please, nobody should use this digital address to register a company. You report. You know, the person look around, he wasn't getting, the thing was pasted there. Some even give us the digital address that leads to the sea. I mean, they'll just stand there and then control. You know, Ghanaians, we are smart. And then our telephone number. Anyway, now because of website and all that, you can get that. So I want to give a little gamut about the Office of the Registrar of Companies. About 54 years ago, there was a professor called Sagawa, those who have done a few companies, you might have heard about him. He wanted the Office of the Registrar of Companies to be separated from Registrar General because Registrar General does a lot of things: marriages, intellectual property, estate administration, payment of pension gratuities, and all that. So he wanted us to be at par with what was being done in other jurisdictions. So that was his aim, but it couldn't materialize. And then later, after so many years, a committee of experts in 2008 came together as Attorney General, and it was led by Professor Datema, now retired. And they started to change the Act 179, which is the old Act, which used to have pound sterling and all that, into this new Act, the Act 992. This is the Act governing companies, so everybody should try and get one because it's really loaded. So finally, the new Act was assented and passed, and then now we have the Office of the Registrar of Companies. So the law has allowed us to do a lot of things, to be able to do bullets informally, everything. We send it to assembly press. But now we'll be able to publish companies' name, those who don't file their returns. The law allows us to do the publication. So the law has given us a lot of powers. We can come for inspection. You'll be there, we'll come inspect your books, and then the law allows us to do receivers as receivers. The courts can also allow us to be receivers. If the company is not functioning, we can come, and then if there's a hotel or something, we can put people there, they'll be taking the money, and if we have to pay for people or something. So it's not everything that I will talk about. I want you to know the various things. Still, Registrar General exists, as I said, to do marriages and intellectual property and public estate administration. There are a few changes in the Act 992, and I think we should be abreast with. Now, the majority age for company registration is 18. Section 12 of the Act says you can incorporate a company when you are 18 years. Formerly, it used to be 21 years. And then you should have the full capacity. You should be of sound mind. You should not be bankrupt. You shouldn't have led any company to liquidation. So if you know you don't fall foul in any of these things, then you can register a company, because with the new forms, we have statutory declaration. And if any of you have seen it, you have to, we've made it tick like the embassy form. So have you been involved in crime the last 5 years? Have you been this? Have you been that? You take, and it's a declaration. So whatever you take, we scan it into our database. Formerly, if somebody was incorporating a company, you didn't need to add consent letter unless the company has been incorporated and you are coming on board. Now, at the incipient stages, you sign letter of consent to show that the proposed company, willingly you want to be part of the company. So if somebody is registering a company and the person asks you to sign letter of consent, then it's genuine. There's nothing wrong with that. And we have all these things in our the company's act. And then the law also states that company name should be distinct, and it should not be undesirable, and it should not be misleading. So if your company is kudos engineering, you cannot be doing events, you cannot be doing pharmacy. You should go by what the tenants of the company name. Otherwise, you'll be misleading people. And the name should be desirable. You can't use vulgar words, names that are not appropriate. And it should be distinct. If somebody have Adum engineer, you cannot come and say you also have Adums. Yours should be different. Yes. If you're in the same line of business, it confuses your clients. And it doesn't also work. And the requirement, the few things you need when you want to register is the name. At least you should get about 3 names on a scale of preference. You should have a company office. You should know the director's name, if it's sole proprietorship, the sole owner name, your date of birth, marital status. And you should have had a TIN number, what we call the tax identification number. From January, it's going to be the Ghana card, but for now, our forms is just designed to capture the TIN. And you should have a company secretary, and it's not any Topic and Harry who can be a company secretary. The law prescribed under section 211, those who can be company secretaries. So you should have tertiary education. You should be able to send or give the board the current update. You should record keeping. So formally, anybody said I'm a company secretary. No, the functions for a company secretary is under section 211, 212, and then the qualification is 211. So please get the companies that we can discuss all here now. And then you should have an email address. Sometimes people send people to do companies for them, and because they charge them, they don't put the people numbers there. Please, if you send somebody, a chance you are not, make sure your number is there. So all notifications come to you. The Goro boys and all that, they put their numbers. So you'll be sitting there and then your company will be published, your company will be in the papers that you are not filing because you don't know. So we should take note of that. And then the law has also introduced under section 21(1) names and suffixes. This is as a result of DKM and Men's Group. So now when you are registering, or if you want to deal with a company and they say they are a public company, you should see the name at the end of the name that it is a public company or PLC. So if somebody is making invitation in graphic, they are selling shares, and you don't see PLC, please don't do business with them. It means they cannot make invitation to you. And Men's Gold, I had to write a letter on behalf of Men's Gold. I was surprised to see that this Nana Ajimai and One Rose with a capital of 1,000, and they were duping people as far as London. And that is just a company, a normal company. I was surprised when I went into details, and because there were a lot of issues and they wanted to dive further. So now when you are registering, the suffixes is important. If it's a private limited company, you add to the end LTD or a limited company. And if it's a charitable organization, you have to add it limited by guarantee. So now whatever you are doing, you add it at the end of the name so that people, when they see it, they can recognize you. I've already said, if you are 18 years, you can incorporate a company. And then we've talked about the qualification of a director. I said you should have sound mind. You should not be a body corporate. And then disqualification. If you are not performing, a person, if you've been convicted and all that, you be disqualified for being a company director. I've talked about the company secretary, what goes into it, and then their function. And then also, if you have a company, you cannot have an auditor for more than 6 years. There's the cooling off. You can't keep one auditor. The law says that after 6 years, the company have to change its auditor. My boss always says that the chartered accountant, they are not happy at all. So they even want to send us to court, but that's the law. Once it's in the law, you can't do anything about it. So section 138 also spells out that. And then there's something new that I think we should also have knowledge about. It's called beneficial ownership. How many of you have heard of you? Beneficial ownership is the way you control an institution, individual, either by influence, control, voting power. So a company can be there. You see somebody's name, but the actual owners who are benefiting from the company, they are somewhere. You don't see them. So now when you are registering a company, the law says that declare, especially like you engineers, people come for bid for contract. You want to see those who are behind the company. So you ask them that, show us the view. It's very, very cogent that you see the beneficial ownership so that if there is something, you know those who have influence, those who are managing and controlling that company, not a legal person that you see. And if you don't do the view, if you don't fill the actual view, there are penalties in the act for non-disclosure. And then a few clauses have also been repealed, a few things, like certificate to commence business has been abolished. So if you are asking for company's document, don't ask for certificate to commence business. There is no certificate to commence business. And then what we used to call the company regulation is now the company constitution. So we don't have regulations anymore. And when people go for loans, what we call the mortgage or the debenture, the banks are interested in creating the charge for you. But when you finish paying, the banks don't come to our office to come and discharge you. Please, when you go for loans and they prepare those documents and you sign, make sure that when you finish paying the loan, tell them that you want to see the document that shows that you have finished paying the loan, because they will create the charge, give you a certificate, but when you finish paying, they don't mind. So you should also take note of that. And then sometimes we have companies that do mergers and acquisition. We saw TT Bank, HFC merging together. So all these things, we do them like two engineering companies can come together. One can swallow the other, or there can be a compromise merger or divisions. All these things, we do them. And then now in the Act, we use reserves to replace income surplus. So we don't use income surplus as stated in the Act. We use reserves. And then there's also something under Section 73 on claim dividend. If you go and buy shares at a company and you don't claim your dividend, after 7 years, your shares, the value and its everything will come to the office of the Registrar of Companies. And yes. Yes, because no, of course. I mean, you are sure, because most of these the public companies have issues with that. They share, maybe the person is dead or something. So the shares will be lying down for a long time. And with 7 years, I mean, it will come to us, and then there will be 50% for government and then 50% for office of the Registrar of Companies. If somebody wants to claim, then you have to come and prove and do the necessary. Because why will you have shares 7 years and you are not telling them to do the top up? How do you call it? To retain? I mean, is it possible? And you are alive and you don't want it? I mean, So that one too is there. And the law, let's proceed. You don't have my time. The law also protect the minority. You know, sometimes the majority bully their way out because we are minority shareholder. If you are not happy about something, you can proceed to court. But normally, the court doesn't interfere with internal management rule. They think there are some things the company should be able to handle them themselves. But if push comes to shove, you're a minority, a leader, and you are being, undermined, you can go to court. The courts are there to enforce law and order. And most of the things we do now are electronic. And the law allows us, based on the electronic Act, the Act 772. That is why now we can scan your document, we can join other, because with the Ghana card, we have the link. So because of this electronic card, we are able to do that. And inspection and compliance, as I said, if you are there under section 228, the law allows us to come to inspection, to inspect your book, to advise you. Now, when the life of a company is like a human being, we help you, the Office of the Registrar of Company will help you to name the baby, to give birth to the baby. As the baby is growing, you need other people to help you. That is where corporate governance comes in. We need people with expertise to come and help you manage the company. So as the company is growing, the baby is sick, you change the baby hospital, you have to inform the Office of the Registrar of Companies. Change the company name, the address, change the director. People do the changes, they sit in their office, they think they are done. You need to proceed. If you're a director, yours is to handle and present whatever resignation to the company office. Then the company office will bring it to our office. The form that we use for change of directors is called Form 17. And formerly, one form to suffice for change of secretary and director. Now, no. Form 17 is for change of director. Form 17A is change of secretary. So don't think you can use one form to change the company director and secretary. Separate forms. When you go to our website, you can also get that. Penalties for non-compliance is very, very cogent. If you don't file your returns, people have been paying the penalty. They pay the penalty $450 to do whatever they want to do, but the penalty will come again if you don't file your return. Requirement for existing businesses. Some people already have their businesses there. And if you are not in our new system, people can use your name. So we encourage that you migrate, you do updates or what we call the re-registration, and then migrate into our new database. Administration, restructuring, and official liquidation is already regulated by Act 2020. It used to be the Body Corporate Act. So now we call it restructuring, insolvency. I mean, those who go into liquidation. You can register online. You can be a portal account user. You can visit our website, and then you can be a portal account user. Register any of the entities, I'm now going to explain. We have the sole proprietorship. You take your own decision. It's under Act 151. We have the partnership incorporated. 2 to 20 people can form partnership. And that one, you need the partnership agreement to bind the partners as how you want to operate the partnership. And then we also have the external companies. We have companies that are registered in other jurisdictions, but maybe you get a partner, they want to bring the company to Ghana. So you have to tell them that we need their registration documents, and it has to be in English because Ghana will speak English. So if the document is not in English, we will not register you. We also have another registration for business name subsidiary. You can have a limited liability company, but you realize that you want to do another registration with a different name, but you want this company to be the mother company. You can register a company under that mother company. So what happens is that under the business name form C, the parent company name is there, the parent company TIN number is there, and then the person representing from the company also name is there, and then the company stamp is there. For tax purposes, it helps because some people want to file the group account and they know that, oh, this company is for, this business name is for this company. So that's one too. And then the in-house, if you walk into our office, there's a queue management machine there that you pick a ticket and then you'll be called. So we have that one also there. And as I said, the commercial bulletin, section 352 and 3 allow us to publish companies that are in good standing, which we are going to do because now we have time. We don't do other things, so we'll have time to do publish. So you don't be surprised if you see a company name that you are not functioning and all that. It means you have to be filing your returns and all that. And the way forward, the Office of the Registrar of Companies, we also have to do our homework well because recently our system was worrying us, people come and go, and we have numerous clientele that want the best service. So way forward, now that we have a board, they've also seen our concern, and then we have new people because a GCNet used help us with the system, and then when the system was expiring, they didn't change the machines. So we nearly lost every data. So we've been through a lot, but we have people at the data center monitoring so that the system doesn't crash. And then, so the way forward is to have a very modern, state-of-the-art, top-notch office where you come, you pay your statutory fees, and then the service will be rendered. If you want a VIP or agent services, you pay. And then we'll have, when we build the office, we'll do it in such a way that even if you are paying, you won't feel it. So, in conclusion, the duties and rights of companies has been enhanced for the strengthening of corporate governance and practices, and then we need to make sure that we comply with some of these things. And then the decoupling have also been done. So don't mix Registrar General with Office of the Registrar of Companies. I'll allow time for a few questions, and then I can run away. If you are full, then I can run away. I think you don't have any questions, right?
Wait, don't you have any question? No question. How many you have a complaint? What's the name of your complaint? Yes. So, okay, there's 100.
The shareholders.
Yes, please. The shareholders are on the surface, those that they have put on document as shareholders. Beneficial owners are some people who can be behind, but without their instructions, you can't do anything. They benefit in a way like contracts. You see that they are taking their 20%. They are behind though, you don't see them. They are actually benefiting. But their name is on the registration document. But they control it. So if you look at, so let me read what a beneficial owner is, if we have time, under Schedule 1. And a beneficial owner cannot be an artificial person. We should take notes. We don't take, so we have to trace and trace and trace. There was a work being done on Wyoming. You go to this company, you see that it's a company. You go and you see that it's, but finally, when you dig, that's how BO is. You realize that there's somebody actually behind the company. So, let's go with the questions. Why I look for the.
There's another question.
That's the one tell you. Yes. Most people, especially most of these foreign companies. So sometimes people get partners when they come because they don't want to pay the amount at GIPC. They will say that, oh, they are not shareholders. But meanwhile, they are the BO because they will put your name as a Ghanaian to frontier for them. But you realize that you don't have control. That's what we are talking. You don't have influence because every decision have to come from Mauritius. I think you are aware of this thing. That is BO. But meanwhile, they will make you a shareholder, but without any logos. So we should. Okay, so. Oh, yes. If you sign the consent form, it means if anything, you are liable. You are mature. That is why the law says you should have a sound mind at the time you are signing. You shouldn't be compelled to sign as a director. So if you're a director and you are signing, you know the company have prospects and you sign. Anything you can resign, but when you sign, it means you've accepted all liabilities and assets. So do I read the meaning of BO? Okay. So beneficial under Schedule 1. So beneficial owner means an individual who, I didn't wear my glasses, so pardon me, who directly or indirectly ultimate, own, or exercise substantial control over a person or company who has a substantial economic interest in or receives substantial economic benefit from a company, whether acting alone or together. So you realize that there's a contract and he's, as I said, he's taking his, but you don't see him. Who exercises significant control or influence over a legal person or legal arrangement through formal or informal agreement. So it's like, in short, there are other things in relation to that. So in effect, they are the back enjoying. Whatever way, they are the people enjoying. Yes, any other question?
No, I think it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so on that note, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam. Before you go, just give me 1 minute before you go. This section of our program is being sponsored by Fabric Meta. Let's give them a round of applause. Fabric Meta is a steel bar product and related product manufacturers. And they are here. They want to thank Madam. Can you give me one of the souvenirs? I want to thank you with the souvenir. Everybody's going to get one, so don't go. So, Madam, we are so grateful. This is from Fabric Meta. Can we have the picture, Fabric Meta? Take me a shot. Yes. So beautiful. Let's